New Trump tariffs were just announced. What it means for you, the American economy, and the rest of the world coming right up. Hello, my name is Vin Ho of internationalvin.com. So recently, Donald Trump announced 25% across the board tariffs on Canada and Mexico, as well as 20% tariffs on China. So what does this immediately mean for you and I? It means that we as consumers will be paying higher prices at the grocery store, as well as clothing or any consumables in our daily use, and even vehicles. One projection was that it would be about 10,000 US dollars for a new car. That would be the added cost for new vehicles. So not only will our everyday lives and the products that we buy will be more expensive, but inflation, higher cost of living, as well as housing will be affected too. So why does this happen? Because again, the tariff is paid by you and I, American consumers, not by China, not by foreign governments, not by foreign companies. So how do I know this? Because I work at a customs brokerage and we do the paperwork, the importing rules and regulations for companies that bring product into the United States. So when there is a tariff, that means there is a higher fee and duty that gets added to the total cost of the shipment. And the importer, the American company, pays for that, not the foreign government, not the foreign company. So for example, Costco, Target, 3M, Best Buy, all of these brands that you know that import and produce their goods overseas and then they bring them into the country. Now that there's a higher tariff, these companies have to pay these higher fees, and then they pass that on to me and you, the American consumer, because they're not going to sell it at a loss. So for example, we have the USMCA, United States, Mexico, Canada agreement, and it has really integrated our three economies in North America. So the big industries that will be affected are the auto industry. We've got lots of cars and companies and workers in the Midwest, Ohio, Indiana, Michigan. Those types of states will be largely affected. So with the steel and aluminum tariff, it'll make those types of products more expensive. So what you may not know is we have very integrated ecosystem in manufacturing and supply chains between the US, Canada, and Mexico. A lot of parts are outsourced. They go back and forth maybe 7 times. You've got the components are brought in from China. You've got the LED lighting. You've got screws, and you've got panels, and the rubber products and plastic products are assembled in Mexico. They're brought into the US, they're finished, or they're brought to Canada, and then they're made, some parts are assembled there, and then they're brought to Ohio or the Midwest, and then they are finished. So there are so many different moving parts that when you increase the tariff or the tax on these products, it's just going to increase prices for the consumables, for consumers to buy these products. So that's what's going to happen, and we should see these higher prices coming in the next days and weeks. In fact, for example, Target imports a lot of their product, and a lot of grocery stores import limes, avocados, and vegetables from Mexico. So as soon as the tariffs are in place, that means that these grocery stores, these brands such as Target, will have to pay more, and then they're going to pass them down to you and I. So it's you and I that are actually going to pay for these increases. So the counter argument is that we're trying to bring manufacturing back to the United States. We're trying to punish those that outsource, that manufacture overseas, and then with the higher fees, we're going to bring back manufacturing to the US. However, it's a fallacy, because manufacturing is not coming back to the US because, one, we don't have the workforce. The reason why Vietnam, China, and other countries are producing a lot of the products we purchase is because they have the cheap labor, the workforce to produce these products. For example, if Nike or Adidas were going to bring back their companies and make shoes in America, who's going to make those shoes? Do you want to quit your white-collar job from being a computer scientist or an engineer or a dentist or anything like that, and then you're going to work in a factory for $3 an hour? So that's one problem right there. One, we don't have the workforce that's willing to do that type of work. Two, a lot of the components and materials are purchased overseas anyways. We can't, as in America, make everything from the screws through the plastic parts, anything like that. For the chips, for a lot of the higher end products, we can't make everything in America, so we have to import that from China, Taiwan, or anywhere else. And then three, the cost of labor. Like I mentioned, Americans are able to enjoy low-cost products every day. Take a look at your house, take a look at your room, your laptop, your keyboard, your furniture, your desk, your shoes, your t-shirts. All of that we can enjoy because they were made abroad at a lower cost than they were if they were made in America. In order to produce those products in America, they're going to have to increase 5 or 10 times just to pay the labor cost. As I mentioned, the labor cost in China is maybe 1,000 or 1,400 US dollars, and then in Vietnam it's about maybe $500, $600 for a month for a factory worker. Now, would you go and work for those rates, $1,000 or $500 a month to work in a factory to assemble products? No, you'd want more than that. You couldn't make a living. You'd need at least $2,000, $3,000, and then you can see what that would add to the cost of the product. So we can buy $100 Nike tennis shoes, or we can buy $50 shoes from Costco or anything like that, or maybe $10 t-shirts, or maybe underwear that's 3 in a box for $10 US from Costco. So those are really low costs. And if we're going to make them in the USA, they're going to cost a lot more, definitely. And then we don't have the labor to produce that. So there are big problems with that type of thinking. And then the other problem that people fail to make is, how long will it take? How many years will you need to wait? Do we need to wait for companies to, one, go look for land, to buy it, to build the warehouse, the factory, and start manufacturing their product in the US? How long would that take? 5 years, 10 years, 50 years? So those are things to consider. All right. So in conclusion, tariffs are bad for everyone. I didn't even mention the retaliatory tariffs that Canada, Mexico, and China are now implementing 10, 15, 25% on American goods. For example, our farmers, our equipment, our services that we export to other nations, to these growing third world countries. We need that market for American producers and workers. So when that happens, then they buy less products from America. And then as American consumers, we have to pay more for our daily products that we use. So it's a no-win situation, and it's really just shooting ourselves in the foot. And we'll see how long this will last. People say that maybe Trump is using it as a negotiating tactic. Maybe. But doing that brings uncertainty in the marketplace and instability for business owners to think long-term and in terms of where they're going to invest. So that brings a lot of problems across the board. So time will tell, but it doesn't look good. I'm thinking things will get really bad this summer. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.